Hey familia, welcome to your daily dose of spice, where we inject a little bit of positivity into your day each and every day. So I have my Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube familia over here, and then I have my lovely Instagram familia over here. Hey guys, nice to see you. Thank you for joining. If you are coming on in, say where you are joining us from in this whole wide world, because that's what's amazing about video is we are connected globally together. So if you are new here, my name is Alex Rosa, Dr. Alex, and I am a holistic practitioner. And today the topic that I wanted to talk about was why traditional healthcare has really failed you. Why has traditional healthcare failed you? And this really comes from why this really ties into how I am getting ready to launch a new version of me and a new practice and a new program, and why I've really kind of left what I was doing before and working at the bedside and wanting to create something that is my own and to practice healthcare how I want to practice, how I really see that it is not being addressed in the mainstream right now. And yesterday I made a post about this. You know, most healthcare is truly failing so many of us. And if you really go back and think about it, what does healthcare really look like right now, right? You go, you make an appointment with your doctor or your nurse practitioner, medical assistant, whoever it might be. You go make an appointment and you see them maybe once a year. Some people only go once a year, right? Some people don't go at all, right? We don't have that person in our lives that is a constant in our healthcare. So big tip number one is please have somebody that you see routinely for your healthcare. That is the most number one thing. But after that, you make that appointment, you see them maybe once a year, maybe you see them every 3 months, every 6 months, or only when you have an emergency. And what happens after that appointment? Because this is real talk. What happens after that appointment? They give you a bunch of papers. They tell you, oh, maybe your blood pressure is high, or maybe you gained weight since your last visit. They give you a bunch of papers with some recommendations, some suggestions, some websites to go visit, maybe some new medications they want you to go on now. And you take that and then they send you off. And they don't realize that you are a mom, you've got a busy, super demanding schedule, you travel a lot, you've got so many things on your plate. And now you just have this stack of papers and it's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with these papers? And how am I supposed to make these changes in my life? Because that's what happens. I've been there. That's what happens. That is not true healthcare. That is not caring for nobody. That is just giving you a bunch of free information. That is why we have Google. You can go to Google. You can go look up any disease, any medication, any condition. What should I do? What shouldn't I do? Google will give you all the answers, right? But what is Google not going to give you? Google is not going to give you the how. It is not going to give you the way to really create transformation in your life, right? If you agree with me, give me a heart, give me a thumbs up if that hits with you. They're going to give you all the information. But what is the disconnect, right, in the whole healthcare part? The whole disconnect is how are you going to actually take that information and make those real changes in your life so that you do lose the weight, so that your blood pressure does come down, so that your A1C comes down, right? So that you're feeling better. And by I say feeling, I mean feeling up here, in here. How are you feeling about yourself? Healthcare don't talk about none of that stuff. There is no practitioner that is going to sit with you and individualize their recommendations for you. I can guarantee that, because the model that healthcare is set up to right now, honey, it is like boom, bam, boom, boom, boom. Just in an assembly line, right? How many patients can we fit in a day? That's how traditional healthcare is right now. And that's why I want to change that. I don't want it to be like that anymore, because I've done years and years, over 20 years has been that model. And I'm going to change that. And that's what I'm setting out to do. And you'll slowly be hearing more and more about all of that as the kind of days and weeks go on. But that's what I see happening in healthcare now. That's what I personally have experienced. And that's what I see happening for so many others, for people in my family, for friends, for patients. That's what I see. And we cannot have that anymore. We are not creating any changes. The overall health of the population has not gotten better, even with all this technology and telehealth and all the things. Honey, health has not gotten any better. Health has not gotten any better. So there needs to be a better way, a holistic way to address health. And that is everything that I'm about. And if you've been following me over the past years, you know I am all about the holistic health, caring for you as a total person. Because you have to be able to take these recommendations, these things that these healthcare providers are telling you, but how do you translate that into your real life? How do you make real changes? Because I'm telling you, traditional medicine does have its place, but pills, shots, that only goes so far, right? So much of our healing takes place inside. So much of our healing takes place inside, up here and in here. And we don't address that with typical traditional medicine. We don't. We do not. So my aim is going forward, and what you'll start to hear more and more from me is, how do we provide real, true healthcare for you, holistic healthcare for you? What kind of plan do we come up with? What does it look like? What are those things we're doing each and every single day? How are we customizing that for you? How are we tailoring that for you? How are we being considerate of your religion, of your culture, right? Are those traditional cookie cutter plans and pills and things respectful of that you normally have come across so far? I don't think so. Because I've looked at them. They're not. They are not. And I only say that because me growing up, I'm a Latina, I'm Puerto Rican. And the way that I grew up, we were eating rice and beans every single day. Rice and beans every single day. There was no vegetables. There was no organic. There was no farm raised. There was none of that stuff. There was a certain way that we ate because that was our culture, right? And I have not totally dismissed that part of myself. I still do. I enjoy cooking. I love cooking. And if you follow me, you see all the pictures of me cooking with my kids. I taught all of my kids how to cook. My littlest guy, who's 4, he is always up there cooking with me, and I'm showing him how to do different things. He's very independent. He's wonderful. Little Ches, Chef Ches, I like to call him. But I still incorporate my cultural foods into my diet. I surely do. I surely do incorporate rice and beans and maduros and green bananas and all the things into my diet. But what I don't do is go back to how I was traditionally eating all the time, because at that time, I was very overweight as a child, all throughout my childhood, very overweight. But that's because the way that I was eating was a traditional cultural way. And what happened was that my entire family tree, and if you connect with this, please, and you're watching this, drop me a heart or a comment if you feel this, because my entire family tree was diabetes, heart disease, everybody in my family. Now, thankfully, I don't have diabetes or pre-diabetes, but if I would have continued doing what I was doing before, eating how I was eating as a child, into my teens, into my early 20s, if I would have continued that, you better believe I would have diabetes right now, probably be on insulin, be taking medications, having to poke my finger every single day, multiple times a day, worrying if I'm going to have low blood sugar, all of those things that impact your quality of life. They take such a toll. They take a mental toll on you, mental space, mental energy that you could be devoting to something else more pleasurable in your life than having to wake up and poke your finger and drop some insulin. Am I not correct? I know I'm correct because I've seen this shit over many years, all my years. Probably every patient I ever got in the ICU, guarantee you, would have diabetes. Missing toes, missing legs. That's what happens. That's the future of where I was headed. That was my trajectory, honey. That was a crystal ball. I could look in it. I could see it. If I would have kept doing what I was doing, eating how I was doing, living how I was living, thinking with those same stereotypes, right? Those same things that were like implanted in my brain. If I would have kept living like that, then that's the future that I would have right now for myself. But I don't, because I decided to make changes, real changes that fit with my life, that fit with my family's life, that fit with my career, that fit with what I saw for myself, the vision that I had for myself and for my health, and how I wanted to feel on the inside. I just didn't want to fake that shit. I wanted to live it, to be it. So that's what I did. That is true healthcare, correct? If you hear me, drop me a bomb if you hear that. That is true healthcare. That is healing. That is not covering up symptoms. That is not giving you a pill and hoping that it's going to fix it. That is true healing. And that kind of healing takes work. It's not easy. I will be the first one to tell you it's not easy. But if it was easy, we would have no diseases, right? We had nobody sick. We have nobody on insulin. We have nobody who have blood pressure. We have none of that. At one point, I was on 2 medications for blood pressure. They're about to add a third. And one of those medications I ended up being allergic to and having a terrible allergic reaction. That's the other thing with medications. You can be allergic to them. They have side effects. I took a ACLS, Advanced Cardiac Life Support class. And I'll never forget, that instructor was amazing. He was an amazing teacher, told me every time we gave a drug to a patient, we were essentially poisoning our patient, and we needed to do another head-to-toe assessment, because we're putting medications. It technically is a poison. It is not native to your body. It is not what is in your body. It is not normal, natural. It's doing unnatural things to your body. Even though it might be fixing it, fixing a blood pressure, fixing a blood sugar level, fixing something, it's still not normal. And I'll never, ever take away that piece of advice that he gave me. So now every time I think about a medication that I'm going to take or that I'm counseling a patient on, that technically is a poison. Do we need that? Do we need to add this to your regimen? Is there something more natural, something easier, something simpler that we can do? And most of the times there is. I'm not going to say in any case, because nothing is absolute. But in most cases, we can do something that is totally not traditional and not have you having to do those things to your body on a daily basis. So if you're feeling this and you feel my story, you feel what I'm talking about. I see some people over here on Instagram saying pills on top of pills to answer everything. Before we get to the illness, there should be a focus on wellness. Yes, honey, there should be a focus on wellness, a focus on healing from the inside. And so much of that comes from, right, how we were raised, how we were thought to think about our bodies and our health, and so much misinformation that we received as children growing up and that we carried into adulthood. And now that we are putting onto our children. Do we not see this? Do we not see overweight adults with overweight children? We are passing this along. We need to break that cycle. We need to break those stereotypes, those barriers. We need to break those. We need to change those. We need to change how healthcare is delivered, how healthcare is thought of. And we need to take control and responsibility of ourselves, because no pill, no doctor, no nobody is going to do it. You have to do it for yourself. You have to take control and do it for yourself. If this has just sparked something in you to want to make a change, I invite you to come along with me, honey, because I am on a mission to change how we think about healthcare from the inside out, focusing on wellness, focusing on our mental wellness, our physical wellness, our spiritual wellness, our emotional wellness, our career wellness, all of those things that I talk about in Spice, right? The spiritual, the physical, the insight, the career, the emotion, all of those things. Focusing on wellness in those areas, supporting you so that you can be there to show up, to make the impacts that you want to make, to keep that busy schedule, because maybe you like that. I enjoy being busy. I enjoy doing. I enjoy living. I don't want to just sit around and do nothing. So for me, so many people look at my schedule and say, oh, Alex, that's crazy. How are you doing all that stuff? I like living. I only got one life to live. One life to live. I'm going to make the most of it and do all that I can. So I invite you to come along with me. If this has touched you, if this has sparked something in you, send me a message. Let's connect. Let's explore further. Okay? So that is today's daily dose of spice. I went off, but honey, I just had something in me that had to come out with that. So if this video has helped you, definitely share it with a friend. It will help somebody else, no doubt. We need to share this information. I'm going to start making more videos about this. This has to be talked about. And be on the lookout for my new program that I'm going to be rolling out. I would love to have you come along with me. So until mañana, for a balanced life, just add spice. I'm going to hit that outro. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. Love you.